Alistair Appleton squeezes into his dry suit for some canyoning in the Scottish Highlands. Next, he also finds time for the Loch Ness monster in the travel bug. A spot of fishing and a tragic past remembered in Scotland now with the travel bug.
Flight 209, depart gate 15.
I'll take the high road and you take the low. Today, travel bugs off to the Scottish Highlands. Foul play or a dirty setup, we sniff out murder at Glencoe Castle, get a fair whiff of a wee dram along the whisky trail, and take a plunge into the great outdoors.
Like most places where the landscape sticks its hand down your throat and squeezes your heart, the Scottish Highlands are awash with clichés. The glens are rolling and the lochs are glistening, and then there are all those human stereotypes. The rampaging hordes of Highland clansmen, the lone piper at his watch, even the odd royal granny stomping around in sensible shoes. But the thing is, they're all true.
The Highlands fan out to the north from the cities of Glasgow and Edinburgh and represent the lion's share of Scotland. This programme takes us on a journey from St Andrews in the ancient kingdom of Fife, up to Strathspey and Inverness, and then down along Loch Ness, through the Great Glen, to the mystical Isle of Iona.
Amongst all the mist and drizzle you associate with this part of the world, it's comforting to come to somewhere that claims to be the driest place in Scotland. But that's not St Andrews' only claim to fame. This beach, for example, was the sandy backdrop used at the beginning of the movie Chariots of Fire.
St Andrews is on the northeastern coast of what was once the independent kingdom of Fife. For centuries it was Scotland's ecclesiastical capital, the centre of Scotland's patron saint Andrew, whose bones were supposedly brought here from Greece in the 8th century. St Andrew's Cathedral is a bit of a shambles thanks to the Reformation and a lot of local pillaging of the stone, but still a trek up St Rule's Tower is worth it for the views. The town's other claim to fame is its university. Scotland's oldest and the nearest you'll get in mood to Oxford and Cambridge this north of the border. Intellect and faith fuse in St Andrews' most famous institution, golf. The town has been branded the home of golf, which ensures a steady stream of moneyed American and Japanese businessmen. The most famous of St Andrews' courses is the Old Course. Fans believe the game was played here back in the 14th century. The hotel alongside is not so old and gives Gleneagles a run for its money. It's one of the most desirable places in the world for a stopover, if you're a golfer, that is. And they come here from all over to splash out on the definitive golfing experience.
The course is overlooked by the royal and ancient clubhouse, and even if it's lashing down with rain and there's a wind coming straight off the North Sea, you've got to forget the Caribbean and the Algarve, because this is the one place where every golfer wants to play. So David, why is that? What's so special about this place?
There's nowhere in the world probably has more of a sense of theatre than the Old Course. I say, you look at this whole panoramic view that the links land of St Andrews bequeathed to us in the 12th century by King David II.
David Joy is a local golf historian. David, how long have people been playing golf here?
Oh, probably from about, well, the first set of rules are 1744. So really until you pick a ball out of a hole and you actually have a set of rules, that's why the Scots claim it as their game.
Now, there's more than just locals playing here. Can anyone come along and have a round?
Well, technically you can. I mean, there's a ballot system which we operate, which you put your name into a draw the day before, and you just hope you get lucky on it. It is very tight. I mean, you used to see American golfers celebrating in the pubs when you think they've broken 80, but in fact they're celebrating the fact that they've got a tea time for the next day.
North of the Firth of Tay brings you closer to the Highlands proper. The land starts rising and it's time to grapple with the jumble of glen, forest and castle. And if it's royal connections you're after, then check out the castle of Glencoe.
Nowadays, Glamis Castle is famous for being the childhood stomping ground of Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, the late Queen Mother. But for centuries, it was the place where dread Macbeth slew his sovereign lord Duncan.
The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
The bare facts of the matter are that Duncan wasn't killed here at all. The foul deed took place hundreds of miles to the north in Elgin, but Shakespeare, exercising as much artistic licence with Scottish history as he usually did with English history, probably settled on the name of Glamis because it was well known at the court of King James.
1,000 years later, and most visitors just want to sniff around the Queen Mother's suite. By the way, these aren't the rooms she grew up in. After Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon married into the royal family, her mother cobbled these rooms together into a honeymoon suite. Later, Princess Margaret was born here.
With so many castles to see, it's important that you choose, and choose well. And if you're a royalty watcher, then Glamis, alongside Balmoral, is as good as it gets, which is pretty good. And for the rest of us, well, it's worth a visit because the grounds are so beautiful. Though be aware that in the summer, you could be trampled by tour groups.
Castles aren't the only attraction here. Moving north to Strathisla, all those misty images come into their own. Plus, there's a definite whiff on the wind.
Stretching for 70 miles along the River Spey is Scotland's Whisky Trail. There are more distilleries and global brands in this small area than in any other part of the country. The trail takes in 8 distilleries, so if you're a fan and you're not behind the wheel, then go on, be a devil, drink yourself silly. If not, but you still fancy a dabble with the dram, then have no fear.
Uske Bar is whisky's Gaelic name, meaning water of life. And water certainly plays a key role in its character, and the Spey obviously has a lot going for it, considering the number of distilleries around here. This one, though, is on the banks or strath of the River Isla, and it's said to be one of the prettiest.
The single malt they produce here at Strathisla isn't actually that well known, but for the record, it is one of the malts used to blend this, Chivas Regal. And here at the distillery, you can discover all about the magic of malt making, from barley to barrel. Hi, let's have a look.
It's interesting whether you're a whisky fan or not. But you'd have to be a serious devotee to go through the same tour at distillery after distillery.
Whisky is one of those love it or loathe it drinks, and for those people who loathe it, they often say it's the smell that puts them off. And here in the tun room, where the yeast is added to the wort, which is the sugary liquid made from barley, you really get a noseful of that whiff in its most concentrated form.
Surprisingly, accommodation in the Highlands is quite varied. There are grand Victorian affairs like the Glen Moor in Inverness, the Loch Ness Lodge at Drumnadrochit, and the Falls of Laura in Oban.
Now, if you think that the best way of doing Scotland with the family is either under canvas or under your own steam, which usually means the joys of self-catering, then this is an option that's going to win you lots of brownie points with the kids.
The Isles of Glencoe. With great facilities, whatever the weather. And finally, the boat in Boat of Garten. It looks like an old boozer, but inside it's a stunner.
The Highlands are famous for their wildlife. There's the shot of the deer in the glen, the shaggy cattle with their spaniel-like fringes, and the salmon leaping upstream. We come here to ooh and ah, and around every corner there's a new cuddly moment. And what do we do once we've seen them all? Yes, we eat them. How can he be so callous, I hear you say? Well, I'm a vegetarian, except for fish. So I can stand in front of all of this without a single qualm, unless I happen to be standing in front of the salmon. I'm here in the Capercaillie restaurant at the Boat Hotel in Boat of Garten, and this is some of the finest Highland fare that you'll find anywhere.
Highland beef, bereft of shag and reduced to succulent steakery. Bambi, cutleted and crowned with gooseberries. The venerable duck, doused in drambuie. And a gorgeously pink and perfect wild Scottish salmon. Some vegetarian I am.
And then, of course, there's haggis, that quintessentially Scottish dish. It's a sheep's stomach stuffed with spice, oatmeal and offal. It's a kind of early boil in the bag filled with innards, really. So how does that sound to you meat-eaters, huh? Oh, there's no hope for these people. Yes, and apparently it tastes delicious.
The Rothy-Mercus estate just outside Aviemore offers 25,000 acres of Highland playing to stressed execs and tourists.
Yes. You can even go stalking deer and take a pot shot at one if that's your bag, but this is as bloody as I'm prepared to get, a good old-fashioned spot of fishing. This is my ghillie, who's going to help me cast a line and hopefully catch some fish. So, Alan, what is a ghillie?
A ghillie basically is like a personal angling guide. The person will basically have intimate knowledge of the place they're fishing. And often people, when they come to a strange water to fish, they don't have that knowledge. So they require somebody there who can help them, advise them, and obviously point them to the best spots to fish.
Fantastic. Point me.
Straight out there, sir.
Okay.
Just practice taking it back. That's better. That's good. See how that shot out and see how the fly flicked over, turned over.
Oh, that was a big one. Did you see that? Right, come over here. So if you're a tourist coming to the estate, how much do you pay for a day's fishing?
A day's fishing on here would cost them £20.
£20?
Yes.
That's not too bad.
With a 5-fish limit.
So they can catch 5 fish and take them home?
Yep.
For £20?
If they catch 5 fish, yes.
So how am I doing? Am I likely to catch any at this rate?
There's always a chance.
Oh, got one.
Got one.
Oh, my God.
It's all right. Remember now what I told you. Take your time. Keep winding. Just wind the reel. Keep your rod up.
Oh, Lord.
That'll do fine. You're good at this.
It's just like a trip to the dentist, fishy.
Coming up in part 2, True or False, we seek the monster of Loch Ness, do the Highland fling off a waterfall, and take the ferry to the romantic Isle of Iona. The glens and the Highlands are at the heart of the Scottish psyche. For centuries, this was the centre of operations against the dreaded English. And if there's one event in that struggle that resonates most for the Scots, then it's the battle that took place here on April the 16th, 1746. This is Culloden Field, just southeast of Inverness.
As with much history that's expressed in rampantly nationalistic terms, the truth was a little more complex. It wasn't just a case of the Scots versus the English. Religion and local rivalry were part of the mix, and as many Scots fought for the English as against them.
That's not to say it wasn't a tragedy for the Highland Scots. Over 1,200 clansmen were killed as opposed to 300 on the English side. The clan graves are marked, while the field of the English dead lies unremembered. A visitor's centre fills you in on the details. How Bonnie Prince Charlie, the last great hope of the Stuart dynasty, set out to wrest the throne from the incumbent German royal house of Hanover. How his army got as far as Derby and then retreated. And how it finally found itself fighting a last-ditch battle on ill-suited ground after an exhausting march in bad weather.
Culloden was the last battle ever fought on British soil, but for the Scots, the true resonance comes in what happened afterwards. The victorious Duke of Cumberland and his troops ran rampant through the Highlands, killing hundreds, the old, the sick, men, women and children. The bagpipes, tartan and the bearing of arms were all banned, and the land was placed under military rule. Cumberland himself was given a colourful nickname, the Butcher.
Inverness is the capital of the Scottish Highlands. Situated in the armpit of the coast, it's also been described as an armpit, which is unfair. Until recently, it was the fastest growing town in the UK. There's not a lot to see, but it's a good base. From Inverness to Fort William, Scotland is dissected by its most significant geographic feature, the Great Glen. It's a huge glacial rift, a stunning landscape of mountains and lochs. The most mysterious being Loch Ness.
23 miles long, deeper and darker than many parts of the North Sea, and a legendary monster, no wonder Loch Ness has such an eerie reputation. It hasn't put anyone off coming here, though. In fact, it's led to a booming tourist industry.
Drumnadrochit, a small outpost on the left bank of the loch, has maximised tourist potential. There are two rival monster-toting attractions.
On the one hand, there's the original Loch Ness Visitors Centre.
Not so much an exhibition, really, as a dressed-up cinema. A documentary on the monster in 8 languages is the centrepiece of a photographic display that presents Ness's existence as gospel.
On the other hand, the flashier Loch Ness 2000.
The water is full of illusion. Wind slicks, rocks.
This is more like it. State-of-the-art presentation that looks at more than just the monster myth. It's a factual debunking of the legend told in a high-tech environment.
And most people got it right, but then most people don't see Loch Ness monsters.
Now, I don't want to sound like I've been blinded by technology, but I do think this one has the edge of the other exhibition. It has style, but it also has substance.
Avid groupies who want to join the Monster Watchers make a beeline for this popular lookout post. The ruins of Urquhart Castle, just to the east of Drumnadrochit.
This is one of Scotland's trademark ruins. It crops up on hundreds of postcards and brochures. It's also the place where most of the photos allegedly showing Nessie have been taken. That's Ben Nevis, the UK's tallest peak. And although it's a molehill compared to some other mountains around the world, it's still pretty treacherous, even in the summer. Mist and snow can fall at any time, and more people die here annually than on Mount Everest.
The Great Glen culminates in a mountainous pile-up in its southwest corner. There's great walking, climbing and mountain biking here. This is Europe's longest downhill mountain bike track. Ben Nevis isn't Scotland's most attractive peak, but if you're determined to get a closer look, then take the no-stress gondola to the neighbouring mountain of Annachmore.
This is the kind of thing you usually associate with Switzerland, and yes, we are going up to a ski slope, the highest in the UK in fact, but I don't think there's going to be much playing on the piste at this time of the year. It's the views we're interested in.
The wettest place in Scotland, Fort William at the foot of Ben Nevis is nothing to write home about, but its seafood is worth a mail-out.
The fish and shellfish along the west coast of Scotland is some of the finest in the world, and the best place to sample it is here at Cranag's.
Opened in 1989 by a local fisherman, it used to be a bait store. Now the catch comes straight to the table with staggering results. Liam Neeson, Jessica Lange and Mel Gibson all popped in here during the filming of Rob Roy and Braveheart.
And what ends up on your plate is a seafood celebrity lineup from all points on the Scottish compass.
Razorfish from Barra, oysters from Mull, clams from Glencoe, mussels from Loch Eel, langoustines from Loch Linney, crabs and lobsters from Egg, salmon from the Hebrides, trout from Loch Orr, scallops from Arisaig, redfish from Orkney.
Which leaves me with the totally enviable task of eating it.
One might suit for yourself.
All along the west coast there are tons of opportunities for adrenaline junkies. You can choose between land activities, climbing, walking, mountain biking, and the water, sailing, kayaking and jet skiing.
I've chosen canyoning. And if you don't know what that is, then you know exactly as much as I do.
But you learn fast. Groups of up to 15 stretched themselves into wetsuits for 2 hours of boys' own stuff. Jumping into pools and clambering over rocks. Doesn't sound that dangerous, but when some of the drops are 40 feet or more, you get the idea that wearing the right gear is absolutely essential.
I have a feeling this is going to be really scary. That was quite the most stupid thing I've ever done in my life.
Even for adrenaline junkies, that's quite an overdose. Quite terrifying.
Out on a limb and a sizable schlep from the mainland, is the island of Iona worth the effort? Well, 1,400 years' worth of visitors seem to think so.
Dr. Johnson wrote, "That man is little to be envied whose piety would not grow warmer among the ruins of Iona." And indeed, many, many pilgrims still come to visit the now restored medieval abbey here. But just as many people I've met on this trip have enthused about the beautiful beaches and the vivid green sea.
Iona's been pulling them in, pilgrims or no, for the past 1,400 years. St. Columba's the culprit. He founded a monastic community here in the late 6th century. And on a day like today, it's easy to romanticise what must have been a pretty savage place to settle.
Whether you come to Iona for the history or the landscape, and most people come for both, it's an absolutely beautiful place and a good taster of what the Isles along the western coast have to offer. But remember, you'll need 2 ferries and at least half a day to get here. The Scottish Highlands surprise many first-time visitors who are blown away by the beauty of it all. And although you can have the high life here with the whisky, the fine food and the leisure activities, for me what is so wonderful is the chance to fill my lungs with fresh air in one of Europe's great wildernesses.
Now for some facts to help you plan a trip to the Scottish Highlands. Remember, it can rain at any time. March, May and June are the driest months, and summer can get pleasantly hot, but never be without a brolly. Now for some costs. When it comes to a 2-course meal, well, how long is a piece of string? But generally budget between £10 and £15. Entry to Glamis Castle is £6.50, and a spot of canyoning costs £35. For more information, ring Visit Scotland or visit their website. And these are the hotels I've visited on my travels. All prices, by the way, are per person based on 2 people sharing. The Old Course Hotel at St Andrews, the Boat Hotel at the Boat of Garden, and the Glenmore Hotel in Inverness. At Drumnadrochit, I stayed at the Loch Ness Lodge Hotel. At Glencoe, the Isles of Glencoe Hotel, the price includes dinner. And finally, the Falls of Laura Hotel in Oban. We'll see you again very soon.